How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse and I am back for another comic book video. And yes, sarcasm is my superpower, even though I'm not all that sarcastic with these videos. Last week relative to how you're watching this, I did the top 10 animated superhero pilots that failed to launch shows. Well, I've done the research and I have found 10 live action superhero shows that failed to make it past the pilot. All of these, they didn't come out for different reasons, whether it was just nobody was ready for it, whether it was just didn't gain enough popularity, or where it was coming from was not enough to push it into development. They all have their different reasons, and we have I have what I feel is top 10. There's more than 10. I'm going to do the top 10. My top 10. First, we're going to start off, which was actually a spin-off from the popular Smallville show, and that is Aquaman. Aquaman was supposed to be a spin-off of Smallville that would have premiered in 2006. When UPN and the WB combined to make the CW, they decided to not go ahead and pick up Aquaman, which may have been a mistake on their part because it has been met with generally positive reviews with whatever downloading network may be streaming the show. If they had picked up Aquaman, it's possible that we would have had the Smallville-verse instead of the Arrowverse. Now, I'm grouping the next three together. There were 3 different Wonder Woman pilots. That's right. 2 of them actually premiered before the Linda Carter Wonder Woman that went on for 3 seasons, and then one was supposed to come out in 2011 with a weird premise. I'll explain that. Who's Afraid of Diana Prince was, it came out in 1967. It was a 5-minute video, and it was supposed to be along the same lines as Batman that came out at the time. They tried to revise it in 1974 with the second Wonder Woman, and I do believe that might have been the inspiration for the Linda Carter Wonder Woman that came out in 1975 that did go on to be a show. 2011 was a quirky premise, and I'll go over what that was all about. In 1967, with the popularity of Batman, it prompted a pilot to come out of Wonder Woman. It was a 5-minute episode entitled Who's Afraid of Diana Prince? This show would focus more on comedy than on the straight man deliveries that Adam West had in his show. They presented it to William Dozier, who was the creator of the Batman show, but he opted to not pick up the Wonder Woman pilot to turn into a series. In 1974, there was a Wonder Woman film which was to be a pilot for a new Wonder Woman series starring Kathy Lee Crosby. She had a different take on the Wonder Woman outfit, but the ratings were described as receptive but not exactly wondrous, which prompted ABC to go in a new direction for a Wonder Woman series. Wonder Woman pilot that was created in 2011 never made it to airwaves. The weird thing about this was she was Wonder Woman and also Diana Prince, who was the CEO of Themyscira Industries. She was so overworked between being Wonder Woman and being a CEO that she created a third identity for herself where she likes to sit at home watching romantic movies with her cat and surfing on the internet. I don't know if this was a split personality or if it was just a personality she hides in. Like I said, it never made it to air. Coming in at number 6, Batgirl. From 1967, there was plans for a Batgirl series that was supposed to extend beyond the Batman show that she appeared in. And here's why that didn't go on, and a little bit about the pilot itself. The pilot for Batgirl 1968 was a 7-minute pilot in which she not only saved Batman's life, but she fought off Killer Moth. She would appear throughout the third season of the Batman show, but since Batman did not finish as high in the ratings as they hoped, it killed any enthusiasm that they had behind Batgirl having her own live-action television show. Coming in at number 5, Doctor Strange. That's right, this was actually the very first film of Doctor Strange. It's categorized as a film. It was a film that was supposed to be the pilot for an upcoming Doctor Strange movie in 1978. And here's what happened to that one. Doctor Strange was a film in 1978 which was made to be a pilot for a Doctor Strange series. Despite having an ample budget and Stan Lee being a consultant, CBS decided not to pick up the shows. Some of the higher up says that it struggled under its own origins and was slow to get going, so they canceled any plans to wanting to make a Doctor Strange series. Now, back in 1961, there was a proposed Superboy, or the Adventures of Superboy live action was proposed. And George Reeve, who was the original Superman, had died, and they wanted to do a Superboy show afterwards. Now, they would eventually come out with a Superboy, but this was one that was promoted, or they tried to do back in 1961. In 1961, The Adventures of Superboy, starring Johnny Rockwell, had a pilot episode and 12 other scripts written in case the show got picked up. Due to changes in the syndication market, they deemed that the show was too expensive, so they decided to not pick it up. But Johnny Rockwell was the first person to play a live-action Superboy. Now, the next 3 of these were all pilots that tried to come out in the 90s. And 90s were more dominated by animated superhero shows, which might have been the reason for these. Number 3 and number 2, I don't think were popular enough to go on for their own series. Number 3 was Generation X. If you know what that is, well, then you're familiar. And number 2 was the Power Pack. The Power Pack had some slight popularity, but I don't think it rose to the popularity enough that it could have become a viable series. You never know. Marvel, with its success with everything, may try to come back with another Power Pack or Generation X. Time is only going to tell as of when this video has come out. There is none. I don't know if this is a premonition or not. But here's number 2 and 3. Or 3 and 2. Everyone will get it. Generation X premiered on Fox Television in 1996. It was originally made as a pilot, but for reasons that I can't seem to figure out, they decided to release it as a film instead, so it never got picked up for a series. In 1991, a pilot episode came out for the Power Pack. It was not picked up by NBC. Many of the reasons why is because it strayed so far from its comic book origins. The children's powers were not properly defined, and they didn't have the same one in the comic strips. Their origin was never explained. They never wore costumes. The parents in the show knew about their ability, and they didn't in the comic book. And one of the main focal points, which surrounded horse and lizard aliens, were never part of the show. So everything that made the comic book so endearing was not in the pilot. Now, coming in at number 1, it failed because it is god-awful. The costumes are clunky, the characters are completely misrepresented. They didn't get the elite of the elites, and the pilot was so bad it never even aired in the US. And if you haven't heard of it, well, then I'm sorry, you're gonna hear about it now. The Justice League of America in 1997. In 1997, CBS produced the Justice League of America film that was supposed to be a pilot episode for a series. It did not feature Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman. A lot of complaints about this is it had plot holes, poor special effects, bad costume designs, and the League members deviated heavily from their source characters. Established Justice League writer Mark Waid, who I've met a number of times, said that this film was 80 minutes of his life that he could never get back. I watched the 9-minute clip on the show, and it did feel like a physical assault on the senses. Well, that is the top 10 live-action superhero shows that didn't go beyond the pilot, and in the case of Justice League, should never have even made a pilot. I hope you had a lot of fun watching this video. As always, I have a lot of fun making it, and if you did like it, you can go ahead and click the like button. And if you like the videos I do here and you want to see more, you can hit the subscribe button, and then I think it's a bell to notify when I upload a new video. Somebody behind me is shaking his head. Anyways, you can hit that bell to be updated by my new videos, and I should be coming out with more videos soon. So until next time, I'll be seeing you.